Hi, Park Hills families. It's Miss Mary here. And as parents and caregivers, even as grandparents and older siblings, aunts, uncles, and friends, we want to see the children in our lives grow up to be healthy. And we spend a great deal of time teaching them and training them in good hygiene. We give them good food so their bodies can be healthy and strong. We want to keep them safe, and we teach them to avoid harmful things. We want them to be educated and to have a good academic experience. And so a great deal of their time and our energy is put into their schooling. And we provide opportunities for our kiddos to find their special gifts and abilities, and we encourage them in those athletic gifts and creative gifts and intellectual gifts, and we have them practice, and we cheer them on. And how beautiful is it when we realize that nourishing and nurturing them on a spiritual level is just as important, and our efforts in this area need to be strong so that we can raise kids who know, love, and follow Jesus. And parents are the ones with the greatest influence on their children. And we can simply teach our kids what we are learning from God's Word, the Bible, in real time. One of the things that I'm extremely grateful for from my parents is that they took what they were learning from God's Word and they taught it and they shared it with me and my siblings. And it wasn't always something formal, it wasn't always something with a structure, but they were excited about what they were learning and they shared it with us. So this weekend's teaching focuses on family, and we have a lot of chapters to cover, Genesis 12 through 50. And when we read these stories, there's so much depth in each individual story, and we're also covering so much ground that we're able to make connections between the stories about the consistency and the faithfulness of God. So as you read and study these stories from Genesis with your kids, it would be very important to remember that the book of Genesis is a book of history, which means that it tells us what happened. It's not providing a model of how to live. It's something we could even, some of the stories we could even consider as cautionary tales. And as we read about the flaws and the dysfunctions of the characters, please take note that God is providing ongoing protections to his family. And we can pull righteous and God-honoring examples from the characters as they display grace, as they display generosity, as they display forgiveness. And we can note these ways that they bear God's image. And we can also note that God and his choice of hero in the story is more commonplace than extraordinary, which in fact highlights God as extraordinary and his qualities as extraordinary. As you read from these biblical stories from Genesis, or as you read from anything in the Bible with your kids, some really, really good questions to ask each other are, what does this story teach me about God or about the gospel? Great place to start. What does this story teach me about God? Who he is? What is he doing? What is he saying? And then, what does this story teach me about myself? What do I need to learn here? What did the characters experience? That's something that I can apply to my life as I seek to honor him with my choices and with the way that I live. And then, whom can I tell about this story? God promised Abraham that he would bless the nations, and we can bless the nations today by sharing this story, God's story of what he has done, what he is going to do, and what he's currently doing now. So I hope this can be helpful to you and to your family as you gather your family around God's work this week. And as always, Kira and I are asking God to empower you through his Spirit in the spiritual training of the kiddos in your life this week. Bye.